Hello everyone, it's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brand. As always, I never do this alone. I have the ladies with me, and today is Mariam's birthday! Happy birthday! How you doing? You look really beautiful today.
Oh my God, I feel so beautiful. I feel so blessed. Yeah. I mean, this whole look, it took a village. Wumi on the makeup and the whole of the ladies. Falari on the hair. Sweet Pearl fashion. She was like, I had a nice dress to wear today. She was like, for your birthday? So she got me this and styled me. Yes.
Who's person?
Beautiful. Her name is Sweet Pearl Fashion. So she was like, this is it.
This is it, actually.
Okay,
thank
you.
It is
So
it.
thank you, guys. I'm just really overwhelmed. I'm trying to
Eyes are lovely.
Yes.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. So anything, what are you doing today?
I have no plans. Today's my daughter's graduation, and I think Tokwe is taking
Yes,
me
we're going to
somewhere.
watch a movie now.
Okay.
Bling Lagos.
We're going to graduation to today. What time is the movie? In the evening?
No.
Because after the show, are you not going for your daughter's graduation?
Her husband is representing her.
Yeah, so my husband is
You
fighting.
people, you are lucky. If it was me, I
Not
have to be the
luck,
one.
it's timing. So your husband works in a bank. It cannot take out that time.
Yeah.
So let's not paint the wrong picture so that people would understand.
Make sure you attend, because I actually thought I was going to go right after the show.
Let's watch Bling Lagos now. The movie is well hyped.
I need to see that movie.
Yes, let's watch Bling Lagos.
How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good.
Shine. Don't outshine our birthday again.
No, when we do birthdays here, everybody is shining together.
Yes, it's a collaboration.
It's a celebration.
Collaboration.
So yes, I was going to say something. My kids are not feeling too well, but I realized that we have these industries that are well pampered. Big industries that are in making serious money, but creating disasters in our environment, environmental damages, spoiling the road.
Investors.
Yes, spoiling the roads. And I'm looking at it that why if you have your industry on a bad road, why wouldn't it move you to say as a CSR?
Sometimes it just gets bad again. I think
because their trucks spoil it. There are
anything.
many big trucks, and I don't want to mention names, but a lot of all these FMCGs, our big uncle, the richest man in Africa.
Our uncle?
Yes. His companies
His trucks are always
spoil the
always.
road.
Along with his company, there's this electric company with a big air on the front of it.
Yes.
In my area. There's another company called...
They get tax waivers. They get import waivers.
On the single
But our
road that
uncle
we
is also
use.
doing a whole lot for us, please. Let's not forget that side
the
as
road,
well.
wherever your company...
Our uncle's trucks need to be changed.
Yes,
Really, in fairness.
and wherever your company is, you have a duty to maintain that
And
environment.
anytime you're traveling to like Ekiti, that road, you see a lot of our
broken
uncle's
down.
trucks, always damaged on the side. You see, they just see his name
Permanently
on the truck,
there.
everywhere. Our uncle is Dangote, just in case you don't know. How you doing, Nima?
I'm very well. So today, the Residents Association in my area, we are doing a protest. This time around is a peaceful one, just to bring awareness again to our situation. And today is the best time.
You need to make you chairman of that local government because you are really working hard. I'm telling you.
Representative.
You are the correct
House of Rep.
House of Rep.
She's
I'm
going to the
telling
House
you.
of Rep.
No,
Because the kind of work I do for that is Alimosho. What is that?
No.
What's the
Satellite Town Residents Association. It's just important that we are safe. So for me, if the people can do their business, as long as we are safe.
Okay, they dealt with the roads. This is Satellite
They've
Town.
not dealt with the roads. They just ameliorated the express road. They've not, and they are using it. So we just have one lane. We are practically begging to exist there.
If Nima gives you the gist of when she went to visit
Yes.
yes, it was a very interesting gist. We won't tell don't tell the viewers.
It's
But she was there.
service now.
It was an
That's
interesting
private
gist.
matter.
Anyways, today's our graduation. We're planning some dance steps last night. So
I saw the video.
the girl was
Oh my goodness. Why is she doing that? My kids.
she not touch this girl. You don't know where she got it from.
No,
Maybe in her mind, it's just like
She
the
was
show.
dancing. She didn't just say no.
we do that. My kids went to a party and they were dancing, and a little, like a teenager, like in the 18, told my kids that they were not dancing right, that they should teach them how to dance, and was doing shaku shaku. And my kid now said, we're going to your party, we're not going to dance our dance. David, remember, we're going to do the shaku shaku that uncle these things, and then don't dance have fun. You are kids, jump, play, anyhow you dance is okay.
Exactly.
Anyways,
These children know how to want to sound.
it's Tuesday, so we're doing graduation. Well, I would like to go to the movies. I'll call my husband and see if he can go on my room. If he does, then I'll just wouldn't bother. It'd be nice to hang out with you ladies.
Yeah.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll look at the top stories. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Let's start with the Punch. Presidential Election Tribunal article to challenge 11 states' results. INEC ad hoc workers say server was used. Hey.
This
Server matter. Okay, picture here a scene from an accident that claimed 29 lives on the Delhi-Agra Expressway in India. Very sad story indeed. Corps member who washed her hair with sniper dies 10 days to birthday. Deal with subsidy ailing refineries, experts tell NNPC boss. Customs officer faces medical test for promoting self to CG. Police arrest siblings for kidnapping 88-year-old father. Lagos seizes truckload of toxic pomo. This pomo matter, eh? Protest rocks APC secretariat as Kogi governor aspirants reject indirect primaries. Makinde Mabogunje arrest others. Honor Adebayo Akande at 80. Insecurity, celebrities protest at redemption camp. Seek Adeboye's intervention. And Buhari's delay in appointing ministers affecting economy, says PDP BOT.
I agree. The delay of ministers affecting economy.
Okay,
go ahead.
Human interest story.
This is a truly sad story. Her name is Ayomiko Ademorayo. She was a youth copper, and she had a few days. She had lice infestation in her hair, and so she used sniper.
Who told that?
To wash it off. And within hours, she was unconscious, and before she got to the hospital, she died. This is very sad. This is a girl who's an orphan. She had lost her dad many years before and lost her mother in June. She's the breadwinner of her family. She's been taking care of her siblings who are in secondary school. You can see how this story is just all round sad.
You know who I blame for this? Her teachers. This is an NYSC student. Shouldn't she know?
Seek information.
You put sniper on your skin itself. Even if, yes, you're not killing, the intention is to kill the lice. But didn't they teach you osmosis or something in school? You know that this thing will actually drip into your head. Didn't she know that? It's possible she wasn't taught.
You know about it's critical thinking, it's research. It has nothing to do with teachers.
It's not even research. It's just common sense, really. But the truth is that
this particular commodity is used as insecticide or as an insecticide, and it's so dangerous that just inhaling it in the room within 7 hours of applying it is dangerous to the person using that house. It is of no use because it doesn't eventually kill the insects you're targeting. They continue to exist. I think it should completely be banned. And I take it with all sense of responsibility.
I think we also saw a video.
It's become a danger. It shouldn't even be by prescription. It should totally be wiped off.
Don't you think they'll move to something else?
No, I just think
there was also a video we saw where someone put it in, I think it was stockfish or crayfish to take away weevils and beans. So you see, people are using it. You were saying it's common sense, but people really are not thinking.
Okay, let's move on.
No, let's take the protest. We have celebrities that are protesting at RCCG camp. These celebrities include Charlie Boy, Felix Duke. We had Idris Abdulkarim, old school celebrities coming out and saying that what they are trying to achieve is get the GO of RCCG to lend his voice to the crisis happening in the country. A lot of killings and kidnapping are taking place, and that women are dying and being raped. The church should speak up. That's all the work.
Why are they protesting? Why not just asking?
They should go to the National Assembly.
Moving on to the nation.
I'd love to see them take over the
Oba of Lagos, Obasanjo is problem. Sorry, Oba of Lagos. Obasanjo is problem with Nigeria. Governor Tinubu, Kingibe, others call for national unity at Oshoba's 80th birthday. So now we know why he was giving all these various talks, because it was 80th birthday.
Wow.
Abo pleads not guilty to assault charge. Elumelu others, PDP caucus warns leaders. 4 refineries to work by 2023, says NNPC boss. Articles witnesses insist on server. Medical test for fake customs DCG. Please, who has that customs guy's story?
Obasanjo, quickly.
There's another story of the medical board, the medical...
Okay, medical council convicts 2 doctors, okay?
So, which one should we go? Okay,
start with the major headline, Oba of Lagos.
Okay, so at the 80th birthday book launch on behalf of the former governor of Ogun State, Chief Oshoba, the Oba of Lagos, the Eleko of Eku, was addressing the people and talked about how Obasanjo is the problem of the country, how during the merger between the AD at the time, he had advised the former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju, not to trust the personality of Obasanjo because he was a soldier man. And I looked at it and said, you know, I have deep respect for traditionals too. I think that the Oba should not allow himself to be addressed, because if Obasanjo should put together the stool of the Oba, it's too sacrosanct for Obasanjo and himself to be going back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I'll say.
Medical
Council convicts 2 doctors?
Yes, so the Medical Council, the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, yesterday resumed hearing over 14 doctors who've been reported for alleged misconduct that has led to death and also led to... so I was trying to find the specifics of what they committed, but it wasn't broken down. But they have been on trial, they pled not guilty, but 2 have been convicted now, and they would face 6 months license withdrawn for that period. And that is their highest punishment. I feel like there should be more stringent punishment for those whose action has led to loss of lives.
Okay. Let's talk about the senator who's pled not guilty. Who has that story?
So 5 million he said he was smiling. Senator he went to the court and said not guilty.
Yesterday, he was arraigned. He was arraigned yesterday.
There's a video.
Hold on, talk now. He was arraigned yesterday. He pleaded not guilty, and according to his apology, he said he would not go into his part. He's just apologizing for his conduct. But he pleaded not guilty at the court yesterday, and we saw videos on Sahara reporters taking selfies, smiling,
taking selfies.
He put a charge that made him say he's not guilty.
So we don't
assault. And there's a video of him slapping someone, and then he said not guilty.
Okay, did you see his face?
Slapping someone in the video.
Did you see his own face?
Okay,
you see his face.
Mariah, you see?
I'm not a lawyer, but I don't see his face.
He's being represented by a lawyer, isn't it? So he must have been advised by the lawyer,
of course.
To say not
so there must be a case that they think that they can
you see the defense where Mariah is coming from. I didn't do it, or I didn't do it as much. It's different from I didn't do it. He didn't see my face because he by apologizing you admitted in public.
Thank you.
Sorry, lawyer.
So I feel 5 million is pretty small. Though.
Let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. He could have apologized for just people. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a lawyer. Let's not go today. Nigerian Tribune. We transmitted results to INEC server. Bam bam. Says witness. Hey, please help us. Ijego explosion, 10 more victims die in hospital. Very sad story.
Very sad.
Customs officer promotes himself to DCG. He's not mentally stable. He's now hospitalized, says Customs. 111 pro-Elumelu lawmakers kick against suspension of Elumelu and others. Let's talk about the Customs man.
The Customs man, or let's talk about Atiku.
Let's talk about the Customs man. You don't want to talk about it. Let me talk about it. So this gentleman,
let's get to
since you don't want to.
Okay. He says allegedly unstable. He had promoted himself to the position of the CG. That's the Oga on top of
Deputy CG.
Deputy CG. Yeah. Okay, and then he went and presented himself to the CG.
Okay, let me add to that. The man was minding his business. He never can wear the rank.
Yes.
He wore it.
Yes, he resumed in the office.
He resumed in the office. He now came down there. He walked through. Everyone was just walking. What's going on? They were just looking at him. He walked all the way through. Those who didn't know him just assumed, okay, maybe he's the new guy. Those who didn't go, this is not this promotion has not happened. He walked right into the office of the CG, or Gakpata's office, and sat down. Yes, I'm the new CG, and I've been appointed by the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So there are 8 ranks between the Assistant Superintendent of Custom and the Deputy Controller General. So he flew 8 ranks on the instructions from Asorok. And you know they say there are some demons, so maybe the demons...
So maybe somebody on the kitchen cabinet.
And people feel that the way he corresponded, the carriage he had, it smells of instability, mental stability.
So let's take the serious part. He's unstable. He could be having schizophrenia.
Yes, he's not okay.
So let's take it seriously. But I wanted to take the 10 more bodies from the fire incident. The Ijegu fire, 10 more people have died, so increasing the number to 12, according to the commissioner for the PS for Health in Lagos State, saying that 3 died in one hospital and 7 in another hospital because their burns were over 100 degrees. They couldn't have made it.
Let's take 2 more stories.
More painful is that they suffered to death, because you can only imagine what they'll be going through.
Vanguard, we sent poll results to INEC services staff. I signed results sheet under duress, says witness. Why I done Buhari for article by Buba Galadima. And I'll fix refineries by 2023. An end for import, actually, according to the new boss, that's Kiari. Let's take that story.
So
Go ahead.
The tribunal petition, the PDP faction has brought with them 6 witnesses, and the information they are giving seems quite indicting of INEC. One of them says she's an ICT expert, and the person's job was to transmit results via the server to the main, server, yes. And there was someone else that said that there was no instruction, I personally transmitted elections results to INEC server through the code provided by INEC. There was no instruction from INEC to us to allow election manually in the case the card reader refuses to function.
I don't want to even go too much into the article.
So there are many disjointed information.
The case is ongoing and there are disjointed information. We'll find out what happens in the next few days. I want to take this story before we run off. Multinational threatens local poultry farmers. That's in Daily Trust. Who has the story?
Yes, I have the story. So there's a new company, Olams, in Kaduna. They set up a poultry and archery company. And the local farmers have the fear that initially they were thinking that, Olams will come in and they will go straight into the production of egg and chicken, and then they will certainly push them out, and they didn't have the financial resources to compete with Olams. But eventually, Olams came in and started to buy from the local farmers and then sell at an even more reduced price. So it's totally going to make their business unprofitable.
Exactly.
So they're trying to buy them out of the business.
So they are the farmers. They allow them to go on farming. Yes. Then they come to them and bid with them at a very reduced price and go further to the market and sell at it.
So they have to
prices are going down.
And now, unfortunately, our president actually commissioned this company a few years ago. And the initial intention, according to what the papers are saying, that was to produce feeds and day-old chicks for farmers. So they're supposed to be the backbone of our farmers.
Yes.
And also, they're not going to compete with the local consumers or customers and producers of chicken. And they will support farmers in veterinary services and similar aspects with farms. So their job was initially signed out.
Who is supposed to be accountable for this?
But what they're doing now is what Nima just said.
Yes.
So the Ministry of Agriculture don't have a minister presently. I would have said the minister
secretaries
should look into it. Let our PS work.
Because I actually have I know somebody that has this chicken company, poultry.
It's a serious business.
It's a serious business, and I know that
chicken comes from local.
Their fears are real. Okay, unfortunately, we have to round up on this. When we come back, we have lined up with lots of topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Report has it that Kebbi State College of Science and Technology has expelled 4 girls who were caught in the act of lesbianism. We have heard similar stories in the school whose students were all female and mixed school alike. Now, how can this be curbed? Or do you agree with expulsion? You can call us on 070-806-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag TVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, so the issue is, in Kebbi State College, these 4 young girls were expelled for lesbianism, act of lesbianism. And the conversation online is, okay, understood that this is illegal, this is wrong, this is against our culture and principles, but is the right decision to expel? Is that the right approach for a school? What would have been the best approach? Are these kids that we can actually talk to, counsel, to get them right? Or the easiest way or the simplest thing to do is just get them out of the system?
For me, I think that just expelling them is not enough, because also we're trying to teach them. This is sexual misconduct and it's very serious. And it is important that you allow children, students, teachers, parents understand how serious it is. So I understand why the school wants to give a heavy punishment. But apart from just punishing them and sending them away, we also want to teach them. We want them to know better. So I would even say it would be better to suspend them for a very long time, like a 6 month, maybe they lose a whole term or 2 terms. And during the time that they're suspended, they go for counseling. And this counseling is monitored, that they're going for counseling, and then they're, doing something to teach them. Because kids, teenagers experiment. So if it's a one-gender school, you find them experimenting with each other. If it's a mixed school, the same thing. So that is what I expect that we should do. Let's not just throw the baby with the dirty bathwater.
I'm very happy we're discussing this, because I feel that our punitive measures and we're not holistic in our approach to dealing with what we feel is perceived as wrong, especially sexual immorality, which happens a lot in our environment, but we just quickly sweep and say, we are banning, we're doing this, we're doing that, but we're not dealing with the underlying and fundamental issues that are causing it. So, yes, if the rule for the school is, we are going to expel you, yeah, every student must have gone through the rule book, and every student should have been aware that this is the punishment for this kind of act. But when you just expel and you don't deal with the issue, what you would create is a layer of a cloud where people would hide deeper to do what they want to do without understanding why they shouldn't do it. So overall, I think that at the end of the day, yes, you can say you want to expel, but holistically, our educational system needs to go back into how do we train these children? What kind of sex education are we giving to our children?
Right. Okay, I don't want to bring it here.
Being fair to the school.
Okay.
So the school is in local parentage to all the students within the school. And these 4 students are not the only ones in school. So number 1 focus of the school will be to deter other children from considering this. That's the first one. Then expulsion is also to bring to notice of the parents of these girls that, your children have now, sort of have, how will I call it? Is it a deficiency when the child, or an excess or something, or a shortcoming that is worrisome that you should start to look into, send them back home. The counseling should be done, the reforming should be done by their parents, while the school focus on the other students within their care. I think that the school is in the right direction. We used to have expulsion happen in school, and it served the purpose of that expulsion, which was deterrence. So cultism had started while I was in secondary school.
I think I'll disagree with you, because when kids were expelled then, we didn't know what happened to those children. Eventually, a lot of these kids ended up joining cultism or felt excommunicated, and their lives took a downturn. So the point is that we should go back to evaluate what we did back then. Yes, some kids were expelled, but those kids today were not better for it.
Unfortunately, even within the ministries that guides university schools like this, they don't have a department for that.
Exactly.
I remember going to school, I had a counseling and guidance department, and they were supposed to deal with issues, but issues beyond their controls like this were expulsion issues.
Mariah, you made a point where you said that once these kids are expelled, then you don't know. I know someone when we were in school got pregnant and was expelled, got pregnant again. Well, I've heard of people who went through school, they were able to have the baby and come back to school and continue. It helped them, but when you take them away, then they're like
making it worse.
Okay, yes,
now there's something called lazy parenting. The easiest thing to do is just spank a child. She messes up, spank her, or just punish her without asking the why. WHY is such an important 3-letter word, but it's so important. Why did you do this? That's what we fail to do as a country. If we never want to evaluate or dig deeper to know why did this child come out as a lesbian.
Like an epidemic of rapes going on. Everybody's coming out. It shows there's a gap in information somewhere where we have not raised our children well, and we become adults that prey on the innocent. So if the country wants to change the narrative of what is going on, we need not just punitive measures, I agree, but we need to holistically do the side of teaching them, which is by imputing in our curriculum what rape is, what consent is, what sexual preference is, who should be this general sexual preference you should have. When you want to experiment, why you shouldn't experiment, the dangers of experimenting. When you give information, I wanted to give my kids drug this morning, and they were struggling with me, and I made them understand. I said, if you don't take this ORS, you will be so weak that you'll be forced to go to the hospital and you'll be taking drips. I said, you'll be stuck in the hospital for days, you will miss A, B, C, D. Which do you prefer? So I could easily have forced them and gagged them with it, but by giving information, they understood why they should take the drugs. So we must get into that space of not just waiting for them to go wrong, waiting for something wrong to happen.
From Taraba. Morning, are you there?
Morning, Maura. Good
morning. Go ahead, please.
Let's take it from this perspective. The truth of this matter is, what they did is actually evil. But just like the way Mariam and you actually Morel said, they need rehabilitation. I think the other part of it should be they should go for a medical checkup. Maybe there's something wrong with their head. But still, I think it's evil and it should not be condoned in our school, especially at this time of present situation of this country. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Bobby, for that.
Thank you so much.
I like to address this issue of it's evil. You see, to us, it's evil. But these kids are faced with these things online every single day.
As a norm.
They meet people online and that lesbianism is a normal thing. So if you paint it evil, you're not really solving the problem. You need to understand, you need to make them understand why that person over there thinks it's okay and why we think it's evil. Because they need to go deeper. If not, people will just, they will agree with you as a parent. Yeah. They will hide it, but you know what? In future, they're going to go right back to it. Because you haven't given them the reasons why not to.
You see, yes, we need to have conversations around these things. But let's not lose focus of a larger number while we are focusing on the lesser number who started this. Okay. And number one thing I'd like you to remember is that this is a college and science technology school where most likely they are not allowed access to internet. It is one child who comes into the school with a bad habit. No, that's the truth. One child might have been exposed.
What are you doing in this world without internet?
No.
You don't have internet.
Hold on, Morayo. Hold on. They might have access to technology, but not internet, most likely. Okay. Even if they had, it will be controlled. It's not like they'll go online and browse every website and go on and experience lesbianism online. It's not
everywhere.
No,
it's on TV.
No, you're a lawyer.
I'm not landing my point.
Okay, please land it.
One child comes into school with the excess. Spread it little by little. And while you're focusing on that child, some children are just so you can't communicate with them, you can't change them quickly. They're spreading it. So take them out of school, discuss with their parents, let their parents take care of rehabilitation of the children, and find out if they brought it from home.
So you're saying it shouldn't be the school's responsibility.
It shouldn't be. The school should focus on the other.
I just want to use your example. I understand.
This call's been waiting. Hello, are you there? Oh, sorry for keeping you. Go ahead, Maria.
So during our time, we had one or two people that would come in with magazines at that time. You don't have it at home. Right. But what we have right now, whether we like it or not, is that there's widespread information. So you do not need 20 hours on the internet to find this information. Right. Just one day during the holiday, you go to a business cafe, you are likely to find something. So that's where we are now. So everybody has information. So what we need to do that we didn't used to do before, where our parents did not talk to us about things like this, or teachers did not talk to us about things like this. Now everybody knows, right? Exactly. The teacher knows, the children know. So come to the table, let's talk about it. What is right, what is wrong, and how you should handle it.
Yes, and it was combated in our time with sex education.
Was it?
So yes, it was.
Was it?
In fact, my school, there was distribution of contraceptives in the name of condoms to all students, girls and boys.
Because you took that information doesn't mean that your mates did it.
Exactly. Please.
We have not been able to measure how effective those interventions were. We don't know.
We have not done, I believe we've not done enough. But Morayo, if we have a law in this country against lesbianism and homosexuality, that's a law. Yes. And yet we don't have a policy on ground to educate people not to go there. Then we are just not ready to deal with the situation. Number two, quickly, we have in our media space, if you have the decoders, there are a lot of programs that homosexuality is a norm, and the country is pretending. You have to deal with things holistically and choose the direction you want your country to go. You will not permit what your law does not agree with.
Thank you for taking us there. Because if we did that, High TV will not go down. Remember High TV? Yeah. With Nigeria owned. We would have actually regulated and ensured that you're giving us what we want. But
as a nation.
Let's not even go to High TV matter because it gets really touchy. Let me take this call. Morning, are you there? Oh, I'm sorry for keeping you again. It's okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's take a few tweets before we run off.
So,
lots of tweets?
Please don't blame the school, that's from Bill Case, for expelling the learners. Schools have rules. Even a different offense could have resulted in expulsion. This is for parents to deal with, not the school. They can always get into another school.
BGM Photography says, for me, I think expelling and stopping stopping at that is not it. They should be taken to rehab and give them accurate counseling.
Okay, we have to run.
All girls or all boys school is now dangerous.
Yeah, we have to run, but I think what we have said here is that we're not saying schools shouldn't have rules. We all agree that schools should have rules, and expulsion is okay. But don't expel without proper rehabilitation. So, for example, if you think somebody has done an act which is wrong, maybe suspending for a good period, something tangible, substantial, like got full quarter. You know that, yes, you lost school, but people see, you're ashamed. What you did was wrong. Everybody knows was wrong, but still you are rehabilitated and you're back to school. That's, we can actually then measure and know that this child was better for the entire process. Not that you expel them,
and just
abandon the child, and then she's left to fend for herself. Before you know it, she gets pregnant again, or she's now the queen of lesbianism, and before you know it, something else. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we have in the studio someone who was put behind bars for a crime he did not commit. We'll discuss that after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Nigerians have complained bitterly of how our justice and judiciary system is being run. We've heard stories of how our police officers demand money to set bail, which is supposed to be free, and a host of other injustices which are just not properly investigated. In the studio with us is Mr. Clinton Kano, who was jailed for 27 years for a crime he did not commit. You can call us 07080668014. You can also tweet to us. TVC Connect, please hashtag TVC so we can read your tweet. 27 years, a child will be married, had children by now.
Yes.
That's a long time. Let's take you back to the day of this crime. Just tell us, what exactly were you accused of? What happened on that day?
Well, thank you so much. I was accused of murder.
Murder, okay.
Yes, and the incident so far, as they said it happened, was within my village environment.
Okay.
And I don't live in the village. I was based at Enugu then.
Okay.
And I am a politician.
Okay.
A proposite consultant, and run some other agencies. So, but something that happened was that, relatively, there was a problem where my junior sister has been married. And from the time we grew up,
Go ahead.
we didn't grow up at home. But when my father died in 1984, so my mother told me to start making plans to come near home because I was now working with one of the youngest governors, Jim Noguda. I started working with him.
Let me pause you for a quick second. I'm sorry. I'm thinking we have an issue with the audio. Let's go and quickly we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So before the break, you're telling us that you're accused of murder.
Yeah.
You're a politician in Enugu. So
Yeah.
what happened on that day of the crime?
On the day of the crime, I wasn't anywhere near where the crime was committed.
Okay.
I was in Enugu.
Okay.
I just drove in home and to see my mother. That was all. But before this time, they were having these land problems. And I decided to become an arbiter because my junior sister was being married there.
Okay.
That was all. Then somebody felt I was taking sides, which was not so. They were my in-laws and they were accused of stealing fluorescent tubes and plants, which wasn't what would bring problems within my in-laws. And we wanted to find out how. And then I discovered as a consultant criminologist that no plant was stolen. The properties were in the constructive possession of the owner. And then because they had land problems, that was all. They decided to frame up these guys and take them to... I decided to lock them up with the aid of one of their sisters who happened to be an assistant commissioner of police. I said, man, it doesn't happen like that. And I have never known that my people in my area have grown to giving false allegations against people like that. And I took up the issue, wrote to the area commander, visited him myself and introduced myself to him. And I have become a little bit popular now because in the university I was working with the Excellency then. Okay. And I was running his intelligence unit and his police unit that time. I was a very small boy. And so when I wrote, they took the matter up and that was all. Somebody said, where did he read this cause that he could write to the magistrates and something happened? And it just like that was a problem I had. And then later on something happened somewhere within the premises. They decided to accuse themselves again, that is my in-laws. And so when I came back, they said they wounded somebody or something like that, and that was all.
Death to death.
Yes, and then the police came to me and told me that it coincided with my coming back again, that I know something about that I've been mediating between this, I've been an arbiter between these two factors. I said, yes, that they wanted to hear me. I said, okay. I was about going to Oka. I said, no, let us go back to Okiwe police station. So when I went to the police station, that was all. I didn't know there was a lady who was influencing this problem that time.
So you were just taken in and accused of killing the person?
Yes. So when I went in, they said it's burglary from burglary again. They said the person was taken to hospital from that again. So when I got angry, somebody told them, say, this guy is connected, that is without my own connection. That if I go back to Enugu, there'll be a lot of problems. So somewhere we had some peace, something. I decided to go back. So when I came back the next time, they said they wanted me to worry. This lady was walking, what's her name? Rosemary Ferguson.
So eventually you were accused?
From Enugu, then I went to Owerri to find out what was still going on. They just jacked me on from there. She used her connection. I didn't know I was too young to understand.
So you were held from that day, you went to Owerri?
From that 1992, I don't go anywhere again until 5th of April, this April.
Oh my
God. Did the case get to court?
Did they charge you?
Yes, eventually it went to court. Now, because that time the courts were, that is to them, they believed they wouldn't get what they want actually. And to me now, I felt there was a political undertone. Because having been bred up by somebody who was a versatile street politician, and we all guys he liked and we loved him, I was not in that kind of political ambition too. So somewhere along the line, somebody was telling me the way I was pushing in, I should stop something like that. But I believe, when somebody is looking for you, and he gets an opportunity to, but the way the trial went on.
I'd like to go back to the issue of the courts. Were you able to get...
The police officer who investigated knew that nothing was right. I didn't do anything.
Okay.
Okebu and Eze, I know them explicitly. I told them nothing that they said nothing.
Were they able to establish it in court? What exactly?
No, but what happens is that because they were being propelled by bigger politicians, I was a small boy.
So you thought there was an agenda?
So it was, yes, but that thing has cropped up and they now decided to use all of them. And I found out that even the state was in the conspiracy, just like somebody made me.
So that explains it, because I'm looking at you and I'm saying he's well-spoken, he's well-read, also has influence. Because a lot of the times when we hear people who have been locked up for so long indiscriminately like that are people who cannot even defend themselves, they don't understand. But then to see someone of your caliber go through this, I guess the only explanation would be that there was a bigger influence.
Yes, and I didn't know that because I was too young to understand that then. When you make progresses, you think everybody loves you.
So I would like to understand how the trial went.
Now, when I went to the court, Justice Hanakwe knew I didn't do anything.
No, were they able to establish a crime?
Yes, because even the witness, no. They had a witness, and I had two witnesses. You understand? They had a witness, I had two witnesses. And then that witness couldn't prove anything. And my two witnesses, yes. And Justice Hanakwe just decided to do what he just decided to find me.
So you were sentenced to the 27 years?
No, what happened was that my case lasted in the High Court. It's an interesting one. In the tribunal. Now, when that case came up, when I was detained at Owerri prison, now they decided to find some courts that would try me faster. They now went and added armed robbery and took me to the tribunal. That means I would have been tried under 2 weeks. That was during that notorious Otukoto case. But God in his infinite mercy, the tribunal judge said he doesn't see anything that should warrant me being, that kind of... And he lasted in the tribunal for 7 years. Wow. Where you are supposed to be tried for 3 weeks.
So you were imprisoned for the 7 years where you were supposed to be...
When I was supposed to be tried in a tribunal.
Awaiting trial.
After that, his influences were too much. They wanted to, and they ran me down. Because,
so eventually, you didn't get a conviction, but you had spent...
I didn't get a conviction by the tribunal. I couldn't try me because there was nothing substantive. Then they took me to a normal court. Justice Hanakwe knew that nothing was... He now summoned up courage in 1999 to sentence me to death. You are not talking about doing this. They were too powerful, and
So you went on appeal, and
no. I wait. After that, the man just summoned up. Even when the trial was going, I told my mother, "This guy get with me and I meet." But when I in the old university, my mother said, "This." As somebody who has some legal bias, I know when I could be convicted. There was nothing like that.
Okay.
Then after just summoned up the courage, and I was coming to court for the judgment, and I saw that lady driving. I told my brothers, I said, like say they don't go see these people.
So this is, you believe that the judicial system was manipulated to victimize you?
It was compromised. No two ways about it. Now, I will now tell you. Now, when he sentenced me to death by firing squad, by hanging again, what was the look? Nothing.
How did you get out of it?
Now, I had to take it in that field because I knew nothing was going to happen to me by the grace of God. I have nothing to do with criminality. I come from an average home. I was finely bred, academically sound to face the realities of life with ease. I went to school at a tender age. I was born in this side, you know.
So how did you get out? What exactly
happened?
Was it an appeal or?
I went to appeal at the appeal court. They followed me to that appeal court.
Okay. What did
the appeal upheld the judgment. Okay. Now I decided to cool down because now I had to go to God. Then I had imbibed God. I've understood God. I brought a lot of reformation processes, and in fact, I hated the secular knowledge I had, and I decided to school in the seminary again. After schooling in the seminary, I started training. Prison? Yes, I did my diploma, bachelor, master's, PhD. I used that time. I studied all of it. Then I challenged God. I said, God, if you know you have called me into the ministry and you want me to leave every other thing, you better go forward and tell them I'm not guilty.
So you're able to at least...
I went to the Supreme Court.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
I was not looking for pardon.
Okay, so...
I went to the Supreme Court, and after 5 years, they discharged me and acquitted me.
Oh, my God.
Fantastic.
So that means they kept me 27 years for nothing. And if you read the judgment, you will get angry. The same facts, the same substances, the same evidence, the same everything that was in that high court was taken to the appeal court was the same thing. And if you see the ruling,
is there any way you can get redress for this? Because obviously there was a fault line within the judicial system that has punished you for what you did not commit for 27 years. You lost your life. What was it? Was there any
discharge and acquittance? What did the judge give you as a form of damage? Did they
in this part of the country, the judges have the right to do that. They will only tell you to go to appeal. They will tell you to sue for damages. If you're working, why are you suing for damages? I've sold all my property, sold everything. I am confused. I don't even know what to do.
Before you got into prison, were you married? Did you have a family? Okay, so you just by yourself?
Yes, I wasn't top. I wasn't even thinking about that time.
Anybody in the prison? Did anybody come visit you?
Suddenly, in fact, as a matter of fact, after some years, my mommy died of this something. I've sold my properties, I've sold my cars, I've sold everything. Even my brothers came into the matter, and it was, whether it was spiritual or something like that, but I was the person who told my brother that this one, he passed the politics when I did play. It was even a prison staff who told me, say, oh, Clinton, your thing has a political...
Tell us your experience in prison, 27 years. We've heard so many stories from different people, different versions of things that happen within the prison, Nigerian prisons. Could you shed some light on the welfare of prisoners in the Nigerian prisons? Because they tell us, they say 14,000, how much they give them per day?
An inmate per day is about, it's not 4,000.
So I can't remember, but the point is that they said, so just give us an idea of how life was in prison.
Prison is a different world in entirety.
Okay.
And for you to have spent 27 years in prison, that means you have, your IQ has been bottled up. That is, you have a different mentality altogether.
Okay.
And for you to not yourself or fixing yourself back into another world, except by the grace of God as you move like, because you see people, you see a lot of things go wrong in your eyes. Now, life in the prisons is not, how do you if somebody opens your door and lock you back in your door with all the facilities there, how do you feel? Just for 1 hour, 30 minutes. Not to lock like 100 of you or 200 in an environment like this, and the whole place is dirty and smelling.
So there's a good side to this, and not that it's good, but like we've been to the prison. We did a visit last year, and we found out how you could be schooled, which you went through school again within the prison, but you were in the prison in military era and democratic era. Was there any major difference between both?
There's not been any difference. The thing still flows. You know, let me tell you, the warders cannot reform anybody. Neither can they transform anybody. One, the prison is a kind of an environment where you get tough characters, different characters from kings to, and everybody's angry one way or the other.
That's my question.
Are you understanding me? People are angry. Even the guy you see driving chains of cars is angry. He's been, look, if you are taking, do you know what an innocent man suffers? So many people are innocently suffering in prisons and they're angry. Some of them have sold their property. The food, who is giving you what kind of food? You see some privileged places, they will take you to that place. If you think that is the way, let them take you to where the prison is there inside. You go. There's no mother that goes there that will come back without crying.
How do you feel? I mean, you were a young man when you went to prison for what you did not do. You're out now. Aren't you angry?
No. Listen, you see, the difference.
How did you cope?
The difference is there. One time at a level, at a stage, I hated the secular knowledge I had because I think that was what was bringing me problem one, two. So I decided to get in this. I brought the seminary where I schooled in prisons and the staffs schooled there. No prison officer reformed me. God reformed me to reform officers. I was reforming prison officers and reforming the image. It is clear in prisons.
Right.
And then you try to ask that,
purpose
this man is supposed to be reformed. And what is he is reforming these people? Issued them papers. What is the rationale of bringing this man to the prison? The only rationale is that they succeeded in crippling my economy, making me, penniless, and then putting me in a condition
now that you're out, what's the plan? What are you doing now?
Do you know what it means to get confused? The little things you have at that time has all been sold in fighting, unseen battles and all those kind of things. And you come out now, you are relaxing on one or two people to help you and all those kind of bullshit.
So when you say confused, I know, yes, you're confused. But do you have a plan? How do you want to... Is anybody supporting you? Is government doing anything for you?
Government is not supporting anybody at any time. Though I've filed in a motion somewhere, somehow. But if it's a society where people have conscience, 27 years to keep somebody innocently for 27 years.
How is family support today? Family support?
My brothers wasted all their money trying to pull me out of prison and nobody.
How expensive was your
litigation
appeal,
process?
the litigation exactly?
From the beginning to the end, it cost me. Do you know what it cost somebody selling like 3 duplexes, chains of cars, land, and everything, and your brother's son, and then you are crippled, you can't even eat. Then the church is coming. It was the churches that carried me to the logical conclusion. And that was because of then I've already been a part and parcel of the laity, because I've read the program up to PhD, and I was ordained on a priest, and I have my license.
So what would you like to do now? What's the next, do you want to continue to be a priest, or what's the plan? Do you want to settle down? What exactly do you want to do?
First of all, Nigeria is a problem. If you go to the prison, you know we have problems, and people need to come together to see what they're going to do to the minds of these restive youths. 2, I promised God I'm going to serve him because of the expulsions I had. Now I want to run, a business center. From that business center, I think I can reach out people the way I want it, because what you have in mind as correctional measure, what you have in mind, what you as a Christian, what you as a Muslim have in mind, it's not what me has in mind as somebody who has stayed in their midst for 27 years. I need to start up a program. Somebody needs to finance me to start up a program to get into where I want to. Otherwise, I won't buy your idea and we're not getting anywhere. Or in the next 15 years, me and you know, we feel worker. So my first way school where.
Okay. So any plans for marriage, children at this point?
God day now.
Okay. So, all right. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, we're going to bring in a lawyer to discuss with us options for a man like Mr. Kanu, what can he do in this kind of situation? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So still on this matter of injustice, we have with us a lawyer in the studio who has won several cases for different innocent victims. He'll be sharing with us practical examples and advising innocent victims on how to get justice in this kind of situation. Joining us is a former Assistant Secretary, NBA Ikeja, and a head partner, Legal Hub, Adeyemi Abijo. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
You can call us,
colleague.
You can call us on 07080668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag TVC so we can read your tweet. So you heard our guest's conversation on this fact that he was a victim who was in prison for 27 years. He's out now. He says he's confused. And that's understandable. You think somebody who's probably took all 2-3 degrees in university will come out ready to take on the world. But he says he's confused. What can we do to remedy the situation for this kind of man?
Thank you. I should like to start by saying that it's a systemic, issue, or if we call it challenge, of a country or of a nation of people who, in fact, if care is not taken, we may stay for another 20, 50 years without getting it right. Why did I say this? The prison system in any crime, ordinarily, the purpose should be reformative and particularly to help, change or rehabilitate the individuals or the inmates. But in Nigeria, it's clear that when you go into that system, you come back.
He said something very incriminating of the justice system in Nigeria. Could you shed some light on why it was so difficult to get justice early? Why did it have to take 27 years to prove a man was innocent? I mean, that in itself is bizarre.
I agree with you. I think in his own case, we should not, generalize these issues.
Okay.
In his own case, because I had the chat with him behind the set, and I found that he was eventually freed by that same judicial system that we all say, in bad, it's, in quote, is bad.
Yes.
At the High Court, he was convicted. At the Court of Appeal, he was upheld. But Supreme Court says
no charge. No
he was even discharged and acquitted.
Took 27 years for the Supreme Court to say that.
After 27 years. Yes, after 27 years, what we should be talking about now is what option, for him, given that this system has, taken him in for that long. How much can he do against it?
So, you see, for me, I feel really sad that we still have a judiciary system that is not neutral, where powerful people can influence the system to punish whoever. We have people that will say, I will deal with you and nobody will rescue you. And indeed, they do.
No, I will lock you up and throw away the keys.
I will lock you up and throw away the key, and they do. So, and this judiciary system is supposed to be the last recourse of the common man. This is where we should all go and seek justice. But we see that power is still being used to influence this middle ground, this middleman, this hallowed place. What can we expect? What change can Nigerians expect? What can that person who is being victimized by powerful people do to get redress or recourse from within the courts?
Yes, thank you. I think it is not even about the person. It is about the system being taken, being overhauled so that we can begin to see, the changes or the improvement. If you're talking about administration of criminal justice in Nigeria, it's more of a tripod thing. You talk about the police, you talk about the courts, that's the judicial system, then you now talk about the prison system. Police, in fact, that's the major cause of the congestion in prison today. Because police will just take you in
and just keep it.
And no investigation.
Let's talk about the police since you've gone there.
Very well.
Most times when a crime is done or when an allegation comes, the police is supposed to arrest or investigate before arrest. Sometimes they usually arrest before investigation, hold the person undergoing investigation. They say they need to keep you because they are investigating and hold you back within their custody for their investigations to go on. When this is done wrongly, when this breaches your rights as a person, what are the options that you have to seek redress? What should a person do? Should he visit a lawyer? What would the lawyer do for them to get redress? Is it possible for them to even get redress at all?
It is, let me just start by saying it is very possible to get redress. Many times I think the challenge is, first, the victim himself not reaching out to lawyers.
The legal
and
fees.
Secondly, the style and probably the procedure that the lawyers also, embark on. For us, I think we had series of, such cases of police keeping people for as long as they like. And when you don't, reach out to lawyers, of course, you can even stay as long. I give you a very practical example. One very recent one. We got the judgment at the Federal High Court. The man was kept for 1 month. The wife was kept for about 4 days. The car belonging to both the wife and husband, seized. Whilst the husband was in custody, he was being taken into the bank repeatedly to move money, to transfer funds to the complainants. Not less than 24 million naira eventually. The man had stayed for so long. So at some point, he was lucky. He put a call across to me. I got, and okay, at some point.
Let me pause you for a second. I have a call. We lost that call. I'm so sorry.
What compensation did you
What
get
did you
for
do in practical terms?
What we did in practical terms was that we went to court. It took us a while, but court eventually gave judgment ordering the refund of all the funds, ordering the return of all the assets. In fact, as we speak, because of the system, like I said, the systemic issue, the police has not been able to return both his passports, the cars. Of course.
What happened to the cars? Where are they?
So someone like Mr. Clinton now, the gentleman, is there any hope for him? This is 4 months. This is with you involved. Okay, the court will definitely say, make sure that compensation is given. But we know that to enforce it is a problem. And someone who stayed 27 years, that's one. Two, someone who's of the mindset that, okay, I've given it to God and it's okay. I just
is it helpful?
Yes, is it helpful? That person, does he get justice still?
Let's look at it from this view. First and foremost, do you have the right to enforce, or do you have the right to enforce? If you do, don't stay back. Reach out to people who could help you to enforce the right. The issue of let me leave it for God, it's like a psychological thing with us here.
Let me take this call from the UK. Let me hold for a second. Hello, are you there? Kennedy,
Hello.
I think. Morning, Kennedy. Go ahead, please.
Mario,
Yes, you're live.
I'm watching your program live from Manchester right now. I would have preferred you inviting in people like Femi Fanama, not this baby lawyer. He cannot. Yeah, because I can see him dancing around the entire issue. I think he's scared of
Thank you very much, Kennedy.
They put you out there, defend yourself.
Thank you very much, Kennedy. Right. But I think what people want to hear, really, is what are the options this man has. That's pretty much what they want to know. What should he do?
The system.
As of right now, he's lost, or you said they stole 27 years from him. What can he do today, if you're his lawyer?
That's what I was, getting at.
Right.
Does he have a right to enforce? He does. This system has spent for him. He hasn't spent it himself. Has put him behind bars for 27 years. Yes, like I said, he's been freed eventually by this system. But that system has kept...
So who would he sue now for that damage, for the number of years suffered? How does he recover? Who does he go to?
The federal government? Is it the judiciary?
Exactly. The police? Who?
It is not the judiciary at all. It is the state. When I say the state, you're talking about... You're talking about the government. Of it. Yes, the judgment will also reveal whether in the first place he ought not to... he ought not be arraigned in the first place. These are part of the things that will form the essence of whatever claim he has against the state or against even the original complainant.
Okay. Let me take Abibola. Abibola, are you there? Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Calling from Congo.
Good morning. Go ahead.
This case we are talking about, spiritually, I want that man to examine himself. Because that is a case that I witnessed like this. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So, by the time the thing is over, I was told that that very man was a notorious man when he was young, even in the environment.
So God was not punishing him. Okay.
So they said that if he did anything bad, people will say, God will judge you. And God's judgment, there is nothing you can compare it with. So if he can examine himself thoroughly and know that he's on the right way with God, even lawyer or no lawyer, God will come to his aid. Because there is one of our relatives like this. He spent 22 years in prison for no commitment.
I guess Mandela's issue was spiritual as well.
Morayo, so this for me, it itches every part of my brain, my body, because I feel that we have so taken religion to the point where we don't think and reason by ourselves. Is it that there is no evil person in developed countries, Abi? Nobody has been cursed in developed countries that God now punished the person with wrongful imprisonment for many years? The fact that our system is loose is not a religious situation. But how do you deal with situations like this where people, your relatives that should fight for you, believe it is a spiritual matter? So they will not even go to court. They will go to church and be expecting that by praying, your case will be heard in court. How do you deal with that?
In fact, you would just refer to why I said earlier that the challenge we have in this part of the world is, this is of course not legal, but I have to bear my mind on it, that you don't have to restrict yourself to the fact that you have a right to be enforced. Somebody somewhere or your mind is telling you, God will fight for you. If you don't fight for yourself, even in the developed world, you need to come out, of your shell. Fight for yourself. Then it is when you fight that you can actually get redress. If you don't fight, who sees you? Somebody who is winking in the dark. Who knows what is wrong with you?
False accusation and false imprisonment are crimes within our world. There were witnesses who didn't see. There were accusers for this man who didn't see, who framed an innocent man. Is it possible that, leaving the state out of it, who brought a false case to the state, can these people be brought, can he bring an action against these people so that he will get damages from them for the number of years and properties he had to lose to go to defend himself?
I did say earlier that outside the state, you could even look at even how the whole cases, how the whole case started, the complainants, whether the issue of malice can be inferred. There's that thing we call malicious prosecution. It is when we can find. That's why I'm careful not to read into the judgment that I have not seen. I've not seen.
I do that.
To now, pick out what is.
Okay, so that explains your explanation, because I've been waiting for you to give me a figure. This man is entitled to 20 million, 50 million, something like that.
It is at the point of filing any suit for this purpose that the issue of whether it is 300 million, whether it is 1 billion. This question
I'm about to ask, I'm not sure, I don't know if it's the right question or even if you can answer the question, because how do we prevent this from happening again? I don't even know how it's possible, because and that young kid will be just straying or walking somewhere and suddenly somebody just picks him up and says, oh, you passed through Governor Keniko's house, you are put in prison.
And for the next few years.
The next 20 years. So how do we ensure that this thing that happened to Mr. Clinton doesn't happen?
Do we even have laws that can guard against it?
There are. We have sufficient laws that can guard against that. I think it should start from where I mentioned earlier, the police, not just taking people in without investigating properly.
Investigation.
After the police, most times police will keep you for as long as they want. When the lawyers or your relatives are pressing, you are dumped in the courts. Again, the court system. Usually, a lot of all these cases, over 80%, starts from the magistrate courts. There are laws also empowering the magistrates. The Additional Criminal Justice Law, particularly in Lagos State, allows, I think particularly Section 264 or thereabout, allows magistrates to, examine why is this person before me. If from looking at all the facts,
we have to run off from unfortunately, but I'll have to run off. But I need to make sure that there's a young man or young woman who has been picked up and his family is thinking, what do I do? What are the options? So you're saying that there are things that the law can do to help prevent a 27-year detaining.
Yes.
However, in the case of malicious, if the family is suspecting this could be malicious, maybe my son was maliciously being punished. What can that person do? Can you, so you don't spend 27 years, what can you do to ensure that your child doesn't stay back?
First and foremost, let me say that each case, will be taken, it's unique, and will be taken, on its merits. The facts you know, may be similar, but there would be some few things
you call
that are
a lawyer.
different.
Call a lawyer.
It's
not just
reach out to a lawyer.
But call a lawyer.
Always reach out to a lawyer. I think the challenge Nigerians have is that in their mind, if I reach out to a lawyer, I'm in trouble.
This is what John Jones.
But a lot of us do this without having to even have you pay, you know, first.
Break. Okay. I have to go. That's all we can take. Thank you so much, sir. Unfortunately, that's all we can take.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll wrap up. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. So in rounding up, sir, before the break, you said something about somebody was saying that you're a baby lawyer. Like, what nonsense. Please, you've actually done this on so many fronts. Could you tell us a few of your experiences on this kind of case, the pro bono cases especially?
Well, thank you. I will start by saying that the statement of the man, you know, saying that this is a young lawyer or something, does not really affect me negatively in any way. Rather, I see that more like a personal opinion, which everyone.
I feel it's derogatory, sir.
It may sound derogatory, but really, truly, it's
just an opinion.
Yes. As to pro bono cases, or particularly about fundamental human rights cases, I think it's our DNA in my firm to quickly rise to the occasion when we hear of such issues. And that's why today, it's almost like we understand what runs in the system. The police, where you're held in, what you need to do, how you have to move. Every counsel in our chambers understand that.
Okay, we have to round up. Thank you so much.
Truly beautiful. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
No, that was good.
We're so glad
happy birthday
to share your lovely day with you.
Thank you so
and we love you, and we think you're an amazing young woman.
Yes.
And you're going places, and you deserve so much more, Mariam. Thank you for being part of this. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Oh.
You want to say something?
I'm sorry. I just thank you so much. I mean, I have received just so much love. You know, I've always had the love of my family, of course, and everyone, but it's just become bigger since, you know, Mariah gave me this platform. People from across the world sending me messages from first thing in the morning till right now. I've made amazing sisters and friends. I'm just so thankful.
Okay, we love you. Happy birthday. All right, we have to end this. Thank you so much. Mr. Sam, thank you very much for finding the whole things with us. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up. That's all we can take. If you'd like to be part of our live audience, please come early. Tomorrow is Wednesday. It's going to be a fantastic show tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. See you then. Bye-bye.